Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? You can see that Darlene Jolene Joe came for a visit. Look at this. Tanya just got out of the car. I'm at the post office, but I dropped her off at home, and then I came over here to catch up on my social. Look at this hairdo. I feel like Kate Gosselin. Anyway, I just dropped off Tanya, and she got out of the car because I had taken my hat off. We went to Meijer, and we got fountain pops. And she said, I actually like your hair like that. I said, Tanya, I said, don't say that. She's like, no, it looks cute how it's standing up like that. But anyway, I had my hat. Where's my hat? My hat's back here. I had my hat on, and I was like, okay, I just want to take it off to be comfortable. So I'm sitting in the parking lot of the post office for no other reason than I was reading social media. And I literally was looking at Instagram, and this is why I don't like getting on social media. It was like before midnight when I started looking at stuff, and now it's 12:27. I've been sitting here for 27 minutes. I could have been listening to an audiobook or vlogging or something, and completely wasted my time. So anyway, let's get into the vlog. How are you guys doing this evening? It is, what's tonight? Monday night, going into Tuesday. And it is currently 36 degrees outside. Like I said, it's 12:27 a.m. Put some little lip gloss on. And Tanya Jean and I went to go get a fountain pop. And then we went to the Meijer. She had some things she had to get. And I had some things I had to get too. And he put them in her bag. And did I get them out and put them back there? Oh, I did. They're right here. I got a new nose hair trimmer, and because I wanted to try a new one, and this is the Micro Groomsman with a lithium battery by Wall, which I've never been that impressed with the Wall brand, but it says it's #1 personal trimmer. They all say that. And then I got these Pilot Razor Point Fine Line Marker pens, the yellow cap original. These are like my favorite pens. I use these every day. And so these are the two things I bought. Tanya got quite a few things. So anyway, and I'm gonna vlog, and then when I am done vlogging, I am going to listen to the end of the audiobook that I'm listening to right now, which is called Murder is Binding by Lorna Barrett. And it's really good. I'm really into this series. But I have to tell you what happened last night. It's kind of funny. So I told Valerie about my cozy mystery that I want to write, and then I was telling Tanya about it tonight, and I've been like so in my head about it. It is like spinning and taking on kind of a life of its own. I'm seeing the town in my head, and I've got like more characters that I want to add to it. Here, let me turn this light off. Is it better on or off? It's probably better on. I have more characters that I want to add to it. I was talking to Tanya tonight. I have the whole mystery all figured out. It's a murder mystery. I have the whole murder and the mystery and everything all figured out. Who did it, the suspects, how I'm going to weave it all together. And it's a little bit different than what I said last night. I mean, it's still going to take place in Michigan and all this kind of stuff, but I've kind of like changed some things up. And so Tanya was like giving me some suggestions tonight. And I was like, okay, those are things to think about. But anyway, I was sitting here, so I thought that I would read some comments before I took off and started talking about my day. I didn't really do a whole lot today. I got up late today, slept in, because I stayed up way too late listening to my audiobook last night. Like I said, I really, really like it. And I want to finish it tonight so I can start something else. And what else was I gonna say? I have to tell you what happened. This is so nice. I think her name is Jen. I want to make sure. I've been talking to her on Twitter back and forth. She's so sweet. Okay, yeah, it's Jen. Okay, so Jen reached out to me. Jen, if you're watching my vlog, you just know I'm like so incredibly thankful for this. At first, I was like, I can't accept this. So Jen reached out to me, and she said that she was going to cancel her Audible subscription, and she had 8 credits left on her Audible subscription, and she wasn't going to listen to the books. So she was like, she actually messaged Alex too, because I didn't respond, and I didn't even see it, because I get so many direct messages that I just didn't even see it when it came up. So she was like, I'm going to lose these credits. like, I guess with Audible, you don't get your money back. You just lose your credits if you cancel your membership. So she was like, can I please gift them to you? And I was like, oh, I can't accept that. Like, I mean, a credit is like 11 something. I mean, it's like $100 that she's literally just gifting to me, you know? And I was like, no, I can't accept it. And, she was very nice, and she was like, look, I'm gonna lose these if I just don't give them to you. She was like, so please let me give them to you. And then I was like, again, I was like, no, I can't accept that. Like, I just don't feel right about it or whatever. So finally, she was like, I would really, like, this would mean a lot to me if you would let me do this. I love listening to you talk about books. I'd be excited to hear, you know, like, you talk about the books that you chose and things like that. So I was like, okay, finally I was like, sure, like, if you're just gonna lose the money and you really do want to gift them to me, like, I'll you know, accept it. I think that's really kind gesture, because you guys know how much I love Audible. So so she said, but you have to pick the books, because then I have to buy the book with the credit to give it to you. So I got online tonight, and I looked up some books that I wanted, and I just sent her 2. And the first one, it went through and she gifted it to me. So wasn't that such a nice thing? That was so nice, wasn't it? Like, I love audiobooks so much that I was like, oh my God, this is the kindest gift ever. She is so sweet. So I was looking through trying to decide what books today. And then that was one of the things I did. I got up late because I listened to all my audiobooks. I'm so excited to just, like, listen to all these books this year. I have so many books that I'm excited about, and there's new books coming out that I'm really excited about reading as well. So let's see, what did I do? Oh, here's my glasses holder. I got up and just did a bunch of stuff around the house, took the dogs out and all that kind of stuff. And then I went to Starbucks. Well, I went to the bank, and then I went to Starbucks, and I got, what do you call it? I got coffee for the day, and then I also did a review of the French Toast Frappuccino, which was fantastic. And then I drove around for a little bit. Who did I talk to on the phone? I was talking to somebody on the phone. I think it was Tanya, actually. And we had our literature group tonight at 8 o'clock, our Zoom literature meeting. So I was like, I need to get everything done. By that point, it was like 5:30. So I came home and I filmed a drama video. And Alex went to hot yoga, and then afterwards he went to dinner with his girlfriend that he went to hot yoga with, and they went to Basbo's Pizza. So he was like, do you want anything? And I was like, yeah, I would love if you would bring me. Well, at first I was like, no, I'm good. And then so then I texted him when I got home, and I was like, is it, you know, like, too late for me to order something? He was like, no, babe, that's why I called you. Or that's why I texted you and asked you if you wanted anything. So I was like, sure, I would love to have a Popeye. Popeye is like, spinach and cream cheese and mushrooms on a baguette of bread. It's so delicious, and then you dip it in this like cucumber dressing. It's so good. So he was gonna bring me that home, and it comes with like chips. It was like a bag. Usually when you go there, it's like this huge thing of chips, but because he brought it home, it was just like a bag of chips, and he got me extra cucumber dressing because I asked for that too, which was really nice. So I got that my drama video done. I was uploading my review video, uploading my vlog, and then I did this Peter Does Stuff video about the salt caves. I was going to include the footage in my vlog from last night, but then I was like, I'm just going to do a whole video about it on my Peter Does Stuff channel because I wanted to like show all the video footage. So anyway, I was getting all this stuff done, and it was getting later and later, and it was getting closer to the time. So I didn't get to do a Peterisms video or a booktube video today, which I wanted to do. So yeah, so that was kind of my day, and lit candles around the house. The strawberry shortcake candle that I bought from Bath & Body Works, I really like, but it's not super strong. I was kind of hoping, like, it smells, so it literally smells just like strawberry shortcake. You can smell like the pound cake in it, or the, you know, the angel food cake or whatever. And then you can also smell like the, I think it says pound cake on the bottom of it though, but you can also smell like the strawberry's really strong, but it's not super strong. I wish the candle was a little stronger. Made the bed real nice today. Oh, I had to go to Macy's. You guys, this was so embarrassing. Listen. So, I was putting on my jeans today, or was it last night? it might have been last night before I went to go vlog. And it was last night. And I looked down and like, there was a hole starting in my jeans. Well, these are like my only really comfortable jeans that I have on. It's this brand Buffalo, and the jeans are kind of expensive. I mean, they're not like $300 pair of jeans. I don't spend that kind of money on jeans anymore. There was a time when I bought some kind of expensive jeans, and I have a Motivation pair of jeans. They're called Nudie jeans, N-U-D-I-E, and I love them so much, this brand. And they're like 32s, I think. They're like, I have a pair of 32s and a pair of 34s that I've never worn, and they're my Motivation jeans, and I got them both on sale because they're like, well, they're not like insanely expensive, but they're expensive for jeans. And you know, back in the day, I had a pair of True Religions and all that kind of stuff. I thought I was so fine with my True Religions on. Now I look back at them. I think I still have them up. Did I throw them away? I think I might have thrown them away because I'll probably never wear them again. Although, I did last summer see this guy at the gas station, and he was real cute, and he had a pair of like really faded True Religions like mine are. I think I gave Alex a pair of them. He never wears them anymore either, but they're really faded True Religions, and they were really comfortable jeans back in the day. I loved them. And this guy had them on with like Birkenstocks and like just like this cute like green t-shirt, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll wear them again sometime. I've gained so much weight, I don't fit into any of my cute jeans. I used to love a good pair of jeans, but you know, like in the last couple years, like when I was thinner and I wore like cute jeans, like Levi's were like my favorite. I just didn't, you know, for a while I was buying the jeans, that's the Macy's brand, the INC, I liked those jeans. But those don't hold up for very long either. But I bought these Buffalo ones, and quite frankly, the reason that I bought them is because the waist is so stretchy. Like they literally stretch, and so they're super comfortable. I just can't believe they rip. So I mean, like, I was like, okay, these are the only jeans that I have that are comfortable to wear. So I mean, this hair is insanity, isn't it? So I was like, I need to go and buy another pair of jeans. So I had bought a pair of jeans. God, it was like 2 weeks ago, or maybe less than that, at Macy's, and I got them home, and I couldn't even get like one leg into them, and Alex was laughing, and I was like, they'll be Motivation jeans. I can't remember what I bought them for. I bought them for Valentine's Day, so it would have been just a week ago. That Sunday, I bought them, and Alex is like, are you gonna take them back? And I was like, no, I'll save them. They're kind of Motivation jeans. They were like slim fit, like skinny jeans, same brand, but I didn't try them on because they were stretchy on the waist. Well, the waist I could get in just fine. It was my thighs wouldn't get in at all. So today I took those back, and I got another pair of these jeans. But let me just tell you what I was so upset about when I got there, was that the jeans I originally bought were like $59 or something, and these were like $109. So I still had to pay, like, I got my money back for those, but I still had to pay like $50 for these jeans, which, whatever. But now I have well, these, I have the jeans on right now with the hole. Because the hole's not that bad, it's just kind of frayed right now. But like in a day or two, like, I mean, I couldn't wear them to a meeting. I wouldn't feel comfortable wearing them to a meeting or something like that, you know? Or going out to dinner. So I got a new pair of jeans, they're at home. The only thing is, I like my jeans to be, I don't like them long, I like them like kind of like right at my ankle, so I get 30 length, and they didn't have 30 length in my waist size, so I'm like a 38 waist right now. So I got 32 length, so they're kind of long, but like for the winter with boots and stuff, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, so I went to Macy's, and then, yeah, I was talking to Tanya, because I was talking to her. Did I talk to my sponsor today too? No, I didn't talk to my sponsor today. I was talking to Tanya as I walked into Macy's, and then I got off the phone because it was too hard to like shop and do stuff. It was dead. There was like nobody at Macy's today. I don't know how some of these stores are staying in business. I really do not understand it. So anyway, yeah. And I actually ordered this sweatshirt in a green and in it's called caramel pink, because this sweatshirt is so comfortable that, and I can wear it out to dinner, and I can wear it to, like, you know, around the house. I can wear it to go do chores. I can wear it to make videos. So I was like, I have a gray one, and I actually have a navy blue one. That I bought those two like probably 3 or 4 months ago, because I bought Alex a navy blue one too. I originally saw this sweatshirt because Andy Cohen had it on Watch What Happens Live one night, Andy Cohen's got the 411. And, Alex texted me earlier. He was like, we're going to have to watch Atlanta together because I started watching it and he was like, it's too good this week. So I was like, okay, so we'll watch that together. But, Andy Cohen had this. He always dresses cute, I think. And he had the navy blue one, but I bought it, and I bought it in XL, and it's too, like, slim and right here. So I had to get a 2XL. Well, I think I bought the gray one in 2XL. But, you know, I think when I bought them, they were on sale, because they're not on sale now. But I basically live in jeans and a hoodie in the winter. So I was like, okay, well, this will, you know, keep me going. So anyway, I did that at Macy's, took those jeans back. I've been really good about that in the last couple years. Like, I used to, like, if I bought something and I wasn't going to wear it or I didn't wear it, I would never take it back because I just didn't, you know, I don't know, I just didn't take it back. I just would keep it and be like, oh, I'll wear it eventually or whatever. And it was stupid. I used to waste so much money doing that. I don't do that anymore. Now, these jeans I was going to keep because I thought, well, if I lose some weight, they're motivation jeans. Do you tell yourself that? But, yeah, I don't know. I need a little bit more motivation, I guess. I mean, if they were like a really, well, even my nudie jeans that I love, if I showed you guys these jeans, I'll have to show them to you sometime. They're so cute. You'd be like, yeah, I understand. I mean, they're just blue jeans. They look like, they don't look any different than like Wranglers. I don't know how to explain it, but my friend had a pair. He used to cuff them up real long on the ends, and they were so cute. And I used to cuff my jeans up really long on the end, too, and wear, well, back in the day, I used to wear, they look like the Converse, you know, like the low top Converse Chuck Taylors, but it was, what's the brand? God, back in the day, I had a blue pair. It starts with an E. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Oh, I can't think of what the brand is named now. It was part of that whole True Religion era. But these shoes are what I would always wear out, and they were blue, and you just, like, they didn't have laces or anything in them. You just slid your feet in them. They were like blue Chuck Taylors, but they weren't Chuck Taylors. I actually do have a black pair of Chuck Taylors that look almost identical to them. I can see it in my head. It's like cursive writing. Anyway, we went to this one thing one night that was like this rave party. It wasn't a rave party, but it was like this music thing, festival they had at the state fairgrounds, and Alex was like taking pictures and stuff there for something, and so we were like behind like where the DJ was, and it was like paint. It's like this, like they threw paint everywhere and stuff. It was very cool. But this t-shirt that I was wearing that night and those shoes got paint all over them. And even when I washed them, the paint was on them, which made them kind of look still even like better. But I want to say Eddie, but that's not it. It's not like Eddie Bauer or something like that. It's like, oh, what's that one brand that started with an A that all the guys, all the muscular guys used to wear back in the day that had like the rhinestone? It's kind of like that. What can't I think of? Like, they're corny. I wouldn't wear them today. But you know what? I used to have Von Dutch hats, a ton of them, like baseball hats, trucker hats back in the day, and now they're kind of like coming back. That's why I always never want to throw anything away. But anyway, I got all that stuff done. Then we had our literature group tonight, and there were 5 of us in there, but my one friend had to leave, so there ended up just being 4 of us in there. It was such a great conversation tonight. I always am just like so blown away by our conversations. It's just such a great meeting. It's not even a meeting. I mean, it's just we get together and read literature, and then we talk about it and share. And right before that, I was watching some show on Game Show Network. I can't remember what it was. It's from, the host is the guy that was in those, he was in those movies with Eugene Levy. And he also, like, in that one, he plays the music judge, like the choir judge in those those movies with, where the girl plays cups. I can't remember what that, do you know what I'm talking about? Those, why tonight do I feel like I'm talking like right to one person? That's so funny. What is that, you, I'm talking to you. What are those movies called? Oh gosh, hold on a second. Do you guys know what I'm talking about, where the choirs, they compete? I love those movies. Why can't I think of what that one girl's name is? Rebel Wilson's in it. Anna Kendrick. What's that movie with Anna Kendrick and movies? Here, I'm looking up Anna Kendrick movies. Perfect Pitch. He plays the judge in Perfect Pitch, I think, and he's also the host of this game show, which is totally corny game show. I can't remember what it's called, but anyway. But I was watching that and I ate my Popeye right in time to make it to my literature meeting, so. And then I drank some water while I was at my literature meeting, and then I texted Tanya like immediately afterwards, because if I don't catch her right afterwards, she gets on the phone and starts talking to people. So I was like, fountain? And she was like, yes, please. I think she said yes, please, actually, or she said please or something. Let's see what she said. I said fountain, she said yes. And then I said, okay, give me 5 minutes. And she said, message me when you leave. And then she said, Meyer? And then I said, whatever, I'm done for the evening, leaving in 5-ish. And she said, and then I said, leaving. And then I picked her up. Andy Cohen's got the 411. Okay, let's read some comments from the vlog. Can you guys like this video, by the way? I need to say that more often. Mom of two said not liking Bananas Foster's is sacrilegious, because I said I don't like it. I don't, though. I don't know. Oh my god, some people are going back and watching. This is from, somebody watched a video from September 28th. That's so funny. Diva D said it was warmer here in Connecticut. Finally said the snow is melting. The snow's melting here too. Kind of makes me sad, but to be honest with you, I'm kind of ready for it to go until, like, unless we get like another snow, storm or whatever, that's like hopefully safe. I don't, want to, like, well, we were safe here, but God, what happened in Texas was so sad, wasn't it? Breaks my heart. I don't want a repeat of that. If we don't have any more snow the rest of the year, I'm totally fine if it means that none of that. I just counted today or yesterday, and it's 14 weeks until the week of June 1st, which I'm really excited about. She said, by the way, I love Dean Koontz. Oh, wait, she said, we've been getting hit over and over. By the way, I love Dean Koontz. I love Dean Koontz, too. Well, hopefully your winter will settle down a little bit, Dee, I hope. Diana put blue hearts and smiley faces emojis and blue hearts. Melissa said, I would absolutely read your cozy mysteries. Aw, thank you so much. I need to look at the time here so I make sure that I don't. Because sometimes I look down and then I look up and it's been stopped. And I don't know how long it's been stopped. Thank you, Melissa. Well, that's at least one book sale that I'll make if I ever publish my book. If I ever write my book. I was actually, it's so funny because Sean David Hutchinson is one of my favorite authors of life. And he tweeted out the other day. It was like somebody had said, facts about authors that nobody thinks about, and he retweeted it and he responded and said that books actually have to be written. Like, I think people think books just, you don't have to actually sit there and write the book. Like, it just is, and it's funny because it's kind of like, I think that sometimes too. I don't even know if I really fully understood what he meant, but I kind of know, I knew what he meant, you know what I mean? Like, people are just like, when's your next book coming out? Not that there's actually a process to it, and I do that with authors all the time. I'm like, when's your next book coming out? Dan Brown, I'm so ready for a new Dan Brown book. I used to love Michael Crichton so much back in the day, and I've literally read almost everything. I think there's only 2 or 3 things of his that I haven't read. And I loved his books so much back in the day, and I would just devour them when they came out, and Dan Brown's the same way for me. I don't really have somebody else like Dan Brown that I love on that level, that I just I can't think of anybody that I'm that excited about a new book coming out. Well, Jana DeLeon now, because of the Misfortune series. But I can't really think of anybody that I get that excited about their book coming out. I mean, Dan Brown is literally somebody that I actually look up to see is his next book coming out. Rainbow Rowell's another person I look hers up too. I feel like there's maybe a couple, but I can't think of who else. Sue put XOXOXO. I cannot read the, oh, why would I mean, even trying just to read when I have my reading glasses right here. Okay. Ildy said, 3rd vlog today, watching to catch up, yay. Elizabeth put blue hearts. Tina said, I completely understand what you're saying about how peaceful you were at that place. Sounds amazing. And honestly, I started watching you for over 5 months, and you make my days and nights. My anxiety is so... Aw, thank you so much. Driving in the car is so calming for me. I love it. Plus, I like the drama you share as well. And you're... Aw, thank you so much, Tina. I appreciate it. Melissa said, hello, hello, hello. Maricela said yes to your cozy mystery storyline, maybe in a graphic novel vein. Girl, you think I can draw? I can't draw. But thank you. Stacy said, I would read that book. Please do write it. I need to know what happens. Candace said, I know you're saying turkey, but all I hear is turkey chili. Thank you for the chuckle. Shireen said, I really wanted to see the picture, Peter. You can go over my Peter Does Stuff channel. It's over there. Karen said, I love when you talk about what you're reading, writing. Okay, so Karen's in the book club, so of course she would, and she loves books. But then over here, hold on a second. I read this earlier. Michael said, Peter, please stop making your vlogs all about books. I know it's your passion and love, but please not all of us want to hear about cozy mysteries every night. That's why you have a book channel for. Your freeform stream of consciousness vlogs are much more interesting. Okay, and I just want to say this, first of all, about Michael's comment. Like, that is okay, he's not in there going, Peter, I love you, but he's just saying, hey, listen, you don't have to make I think it's a very fair comment, and I thought that how he said it was nice. That is a comment that like when I was talking about like blocking people, whatever, I think that's a really fair comment, And to be honest with you about the book stuff, if I could remember, like while I'm vlogging, to stop talking about books and just save it for my booktube, because what happens then is I wake up and I'm like, I don't have anything to talk about in a book vlog today. Well, of course you don't, because you talked about it all last night in your vlog. I try so hard, but like now, I will say this, with the writing of the cozy mystery, I probably will talk about that over here a little bit. So, but I love books so much. So I'm going to talk a little bit about them, but I will do a better job at trying not to talk so much about it. But Karen, she'll listen because she loves books, see? Karen and I are like this. I could talk about books on every single one of my channels. Cauliflower says, oh, I love how you spell it too, cauliflower. That cozy mystery outline sounds so good. Great name for your main character would be Kala. Oh, Nita said, it's plug it in, plug it in. I believe those Glade plugins sent up your house. When I was singing last night, put it in, put it in. It's plug it in, plug it in. Impassioned said the main character's name should be Judy Good. That's hilarious. Kayla said, I absolutely loathe bananas. Something about the texture turns me off. I love artificial banana flavored. See, I don't. She said, I love artificial banana flavored things. So I don't like the artificial banana flavored stuff. I don't like it at all. HD Azine said, man, I am emo today for some reason. Love you, Peter, and love you all. Love you too. It's okay, to feel all the emotions of the world. I mean, we're human. We should, shouldn't we? Haley said, haha, the words are plug it in, plug it in. And she also said that she would pre-order my cozy mystery. You guys are so nice. Series you write. Manal said, so needed this now. Thanks, Peter. XOXO Manal. Manal is another book club member. Hey, Manal. There's a lot of book club members in here. Sean said, hi, Peter. I love you, Peter. Thanks for keeping me company. Hey, Sean. There's like somebody that comes in here, I don't know who it is, but like they put these like spam comments. I know it's just like bots, but like they put 0, it looks like a timestamp, but it's not a timestamp. It's like 0:43 and then von.in.net. I don't know what it is, but I get them all the time, or they'll say things like hotmongs.com or whatever, and I'm like, no, and I block it immediately because it's just total spam, right? Is it gonna stop? It's gonna stop in like 10 seconds. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. And what a mess, you guys. I had to like turn the camera off, turn it back on, readjust it in this bean bag, and then I lost my place in my comments. So I think I'm actually gonna go back like several days. Here I'm just like scrolling through the comments. I'm just gonna go back like several days and see. Magic Me said, yikes, Peter. Not sure there's anything another living person who runs into as many serial killers as you. True, maybe. I don't know. Adriana said, she time-stamped it. This is on the I've Learned to Live With It. I totally fangirl when you said my name and you read my comment that I'm catching up on the vlogs. Ha ha ha. I totally still am catching up. Almost there. See, I forget what I say in these. On my February 19th vlog, some more things to say. Sue said, such a touching post. God bless you forever. Oh, what a nice thing to say to somebody. That's so sweet. Do-do-do. Oh my god, you guys, there's so many comments. Oh, Sarah said, I think you were thinking of the Lucy Stone series by Leslie Meyer, married and worked at call center. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up because I think that that's probably it. That was the book that I was talking about. Okay. So many people are commenting about the guy in the woods. I've read a lot of these comments already. I'll tell you about there was a comment that I wanted to read. I was talking about sobriety and someone said something in here. It was on my being present video. Let me go into that one. Which I guess was from 2 days ago. And then I want to talk about, I drove back into Richie Woods. I drove back into Richie Woods the other night when I got off the phone with my sponsor. It was like, did I say this last night? It was like 6 o'clock at night. He was not in there. I did talk about this last night because it was really scary. It was like dark in there and stuff. Yeah. Robert said, how was your reading with B? You don't have to tell us. It was fantastic. B gave me a fantastic reading. B, Lucille, tarot card reader. We talked for over an hour on, like, the reading, and she did. I asked her for information on what was in the basement that's supposedly worth, a lot of money. She didn't really give me any information that I didn't already know, but it was a very interesting reading. And then she did a general reading on me that was very interesting as well. And then we just kind of talked, and yeah, she's just really cool. She's just cool people. I mean, like, she's just so genuine and down to earth. I love her. We actually talked more than, like, we did a reading, which was really cool. Emily said, what if he was checking on a body he hid? Peter, buy a taser or something, please. I really don't think it was anything that serious, honestly. Where is the comment that I want to... Kara said, I wish you could do a dispatch sit along with me. I would love to hear your commentary on all the calls. I would love to do a dispatch sit along. I think that would be really interesting. Kelsey said, I love you, Peter, but you say, so much. I know I do. Andrea said, you look so handsome in your new sweatshirt, Peter. Oh my God, thank you so much. Karen gave blue hearts. Hey, Karen. Where is the comment? Okay. So someone said, expecting someone to be sober because you are is like asking... Expecting someone to be sober because you are ... is like asking someone to eat a salad because you're on a diet. No, not really. I see those as two completely different things. And I think it's important for me to talk about this. And I don't think, I'm assuming from the post that you're just sharing your opinion. It wasn't like, you know, like, first of all, I don't expect people in my life to be sober. I want to make that very, very clear. I don't expect anybody to be sober. I do think that so let me make this very clear before I get into this, because I think this is an important topic. That I do believe that addiction is a disease, okay? It's identified as, by the American Medical Association as a disease, like any other disease. It has signs and symptoms, and it is fatal. So, if untreated, it is fatal. So, I look at addiction as a disease, right? So, when a family member comes home from treatment, or a husband or a wife, or, you know, child or sibling or whatever, comes home from treatment, to expect that the people that you live with in that house, okay, if they are your family that care about you and love you, to expect them to be not to be sober, but to not keep substances in the house and to not come home inebriated, I don't think that's personally a lot to ask. At least not for the beginning, okay? I really don't. Especially if you're trying to be loving and supportive of that person. You know, when I was working back in the day, you know, I would have like a husband or a wife say to me, like, you know, like let's say if a husband was in treatment, you know, a wife say, so when he comes home, does that mean like, you know, I can't have like a 6-pack of beer in the refrigerator? You know, I just like to have a beer in the evening, but does that mean that when he comes home, like, I can't have a beer? And I'd say, I'm not telling you what you can or can't do, but if he asks you, could you maybe mind not keeping beer in the house because it's tempting for me or whatever? But even at, you know, like, for how long? And I'm like, well, I mean, for as long as they ask you to. I'm 26 years sober. My husband keeps alcohol in the house. My husband drinks wine in the house. It doesn't personally bother me. But every alcoholic and addict is different, you know? I know alcoholics that have never had alcohol in their home and they're sober. They've been sober for 40 years. So, you know, I share those things and, well, you know, whatever. And what I usually say to people to this day, you know, when I, you know, have friends of mine that I talk to their families or whatever, you know, or whatnot, you know, it's like, and I said it back then too, if you're having a 6-pack of beer or you're going out to have, you know, a drink or a margarita is more important to you than your loved one's sobriety in that moment, maybe check your own substance issues. Because for anybody that's not an alcoholic or an addict, they wouldn't fight so hard to have that need, right? They just say, well, I'll give it up. Like, if you truly are not an alcoholic, or let's say if you want to keep on smoking pot, even though this person just literally is going like 80 miles an hour through the middle of, this is so interesting to me. Okay, and now here's another one passing me by going about as fast. Something's going on here. Because they're like trying to catch them or something. This is a really busy area with police. But anyway, I can understand, and I'm just saying this, I can understand how like an outsider that's not an addict or an alcoholic might make that statement and say that you can't expect somebody to do that. I don't expect anybody in my life to be sober. It's my job to set the limits and the boundaries for what I can be, you know, and what I can have. But, you know, if I said to Alex, like, I don't want you to drink tonight, or, you know, like, do you mind not keeping this alcohol in the house? You know, like when I started going back to meetings originally, I didn't feel like I was going to crave, but I was really holding on tightly to my sobriety. And there were things that I asked him to get rid of. Where he keeps the wine glasses, like for some reason, I don't know why this bothered me, but there were shot glasses up there that I think he might have today, like 3 or 4 up there, like nice ones that have like from Crate and Barrel or something. But back then, like, Alex collected them, and like people would give him, like, they go on vacation and they bring him a shot glass, and he had them like all down there. And I said, can you box those up? And, you know, there was a time when, and he boxed them up without question, and, you know, put them away. And I think he may have even given them away or something like that. And then there was a time where he and his girlfriends had gone to the pool, and they had taken some beer up there, and there was like 1 beer left, and it sat in the bottom of our refrigerator. I don't know why this drove me crazy. I think it's also sometimes, like, I don't, like, a glass of wine sounds good, but like, if I'm gonna crave something, like, that's usually never the craving that hits me. But like a can of beer, like, sounds like a cold beer does sound good every once in a while to me. Although I do believe that the desire has been lifted for me to use. But that can of beer, every time I would open that refrigerator, and this has been years ago now, but every time I would open that refrigerator that summer, that beer would be staring at me, you know? So I finally said to him one day, I said, can you take that beer out of the refrigerator, please? And he was like, I was like real irritated that day or something anyway, which, you know, for us, it's dangerous when we're irritable, restless, and discontent. And I was real irritable, and that was when I wasn't going to meetings. And I said, can you take that beer out of the refrigerator? And he was like, what beer? Like, he didn't even know it was in there. Like, that's, you know, it had been like a month or 2 or something. And I said, there's been a beer in the bottom of the refrigerator all summer. Can you just take it out of there? He was like, babe, you could have asked me that, like, the day that I put it in there. Like, I don't, you know, whatever. So I think when you are in a relationship with somebody that's sober, I think there are going to be contingency factors that come along with that, you know, if you're in a loving, caring, understanding relationship. And we've always had very open conversations about it, because there has been a lot that Alex has not understood about it, because he wasn't there when I drank. So there were a lot of things he didn't understand. One of which being like why I still needed to go to meet. I mean, he never really questioned it or said, you know, like, you don't need to go to a meeting. He never said anything like that. But like, he didn't understand why at 26 years, well, I mean, I wasn't 26 years when I met him. So, you know, 13 years, 12 years or whatever, when I met him, that I still needed to go to meetings on a regular basis. Like, that didn't. So when I went back, that was a real learning experience for us, which is why when we went to a marriage counselor, it was so important for me that we went to a marriage counselor. And I wanted to go to somebody that was not like actively working a program, because I knew that Alex would feel like that person was on my side. But it was really important to me that somebody was very well versed in 12-step program. And so when I called the guy who ended up being our counselor on the phone, I asked him some questions. I mean, he knew everything that he would need to know as if he were in a 12-step program without being in a 12-step program. So, you know, that was very educational. Like, you know, he would say things to Alex and I about, you know, like, okay, it's funny this is even coming up that I'm addressing it, because, like, I don't have an expectation that people in my life are sober. And like I said, I have friends of mine and I know people that, you know, drink or smoke weed every once in a while and stuff like that. I do think it's fair for me to have an expectation that if I'm going to go do something with somebody and they know that I'm sober, that they don't. If we've had, like, and they know that that's something that I don't want to sit with somebody in a car while they're baked out of their mind. Like, quite frankly, that's not enjoyable for me. So you go smoke your pot and do your business, and then when you're not needing to do that, we can hang out. Like, I don't think that's a lot to ask. I'm still not judging you. You go do you. But if it's going to become a problem where you can't hang out with me unless you're high, then we're kind of on two separate pages, if that makes sense. And, you know, the other thing is this, like, I talk about it in videos and whatever, but my sobriety is the most important thing in my life. I mean, if I'm not sober, I'm not alive, and I have to guard that with everything that I have. So no, I can't walk through this world expecting that people aren't going to drink at parties and people aren't going to drink at restaurants and that my husband's not going to want to have a drink when I married him knowing that he drank, you know? But I am allowed to set boundaries and limits within my own life of what I can handle and what I can't handle. So I have some rules for myself. I always drive so that I can leave whenever I want. I don't ever commit to any period of time that I'll stay somewhere. I always say, well, if I have to go, I have to go. You know, I don't mind being around people that are drinking, but I refuse to be around any kind of drugs whatsoever. And these are just kind of some boundaries that I've set for myself that I've learned over time that are healthy for me, you know? And I don't have tons and tons of friends today in my life, and I think that's probably part of it as well. You know, I don't really know how to explain this because it makes me feel almost kind of like I'm prudish about things. But, like, we're becoming a very marijuana-centered world, and I don't judge anybody that wants to smoke pot. I am a believer that you can become physically addicted to pot because I believe that I was physically addicted to pot. And I also smoked pot all day long. So if I had it, I was going to smoke it. So call that whatever you want to call it, but that was me. And I made a lot of excuses for it, you know, and was constantly wanting to educate people on this and that and whatever, and that just... So I don't, like, today, like, you want to talk about getting into harder drugs, like, that's a different issue for me, and I don't like to have that conversation without sitting down and having a one-on-one conversation. Like, I don't think, to me today, I don't, like, recreationally, somebody that is, like, gonna go do this or gonna go do that, like, I don't really, that's a whole different conversation. As far as talking about alcohol and marijuana, those two, for me, I can handle. I'm not comfortable being around somebody smoking pot. It's not comfortable to me. I don't, like I said, I don't judge it. I believe firmly in the decriminalization of marijuana. I think that we have to. I think there will be a day that we're using, and I think that there are a lot of medicinal uses for marijuana that are fantastic. I think one day we'll even use Marinol for, you know, all kinds of things that they're using the pill form of marijuana for today. But I think, you know, I mean, we're seeing, like, fantastic ways that people are using marijuana, if that makes sense. But to be, like, at a party where somebody just blazes up a joint and they're sitting there, or a blunt, like, I would literally walk out the door and leave. Like, I'm not comfortable with that. And I'm trying to think, the only time it's ever happened was we were going to a concert. This has been several years, and we were jointly meeting at somebody's house. There was like 8 of us that were meeting there, or 10 of us that were meeting there, and then we were gonna all take like 2 cars from there. And we got there, and there was like a lot of up and down, like upstairs and downstairs stuff going on, you know, and like people getting ready upstairs and coming downstairs. And it was just like me kind of sitting there with like 3 other people, and Alex was like just like standing there on his phone and whatever, and talking to these 2 girls, and they were like having a drink before we left. And I looked over at the counter. Well, all of a sudden I could smell it coming from downstairs. I hate the smell of pot. I hated the smell of pot when I smoked it, and I hate the smell of pot now. I think it's disgusting. Which is so funny, because Tanya, like, never really smoked it, and she loves the smell of pot. Like, whenever she smells it, she's like, I think it smells so good, and she never even smoked it. So, I think she smoked it, like, I don't even know if she did. I can't remember. If she did, it wasn't a lot, like once or twice or something like that. But anyway. But I smelled it coming down the stairs, and I immediately was like, I'm not comfortable with this. And then I looked over at the counter, and there was like tons, like just sitting on the counter, where they had been like breaking it apart and stuff. And I went over to Alex, and I said, I'm gonna walk outside. And he was like, are you okay? And I looked over at the counter, and he goes, you want me to come outside with you? And I said, no, I'm good. You can stay in here if you want. I'm not comfortable around it. That's me, you know? That's not my expectation for somebody else being sober. That's me saying I'm not comfortable with this, and I'm gonna leave. So, you know, at concerts and music festivals, it's unavoidable. It's around me. I can smell it. Like I said, I don't like the smell of it. And I think it's weird, like, I have these Crocs on and they're like squeak. Do you hear that? You know, I was talking to Tanya about, like, we've talked about this a lot recently, this whole idea that, like, you guys, it was bad. Like, it was bad for me back in the day, right? It wasn't just like I sat around and had a couple beers and smoked a couple joints and that was my use. I mean, it was bad. I mean, it was like, it was bad. It was like my last penny for cocaine, and, you know, going over to my dealer's house and asking him to front me some, you know, rock, and putting a gun in my mouth and telling me to, like, give head to this gun, and waking up with people that I would never have hooked up with. And that didn't happen a lot, but it happened enough. You know, or dating people. I dated this guy that was a dealer, you know, just for that reason, you know, and I felt like he was powerful, and I got whatever I wanted to get, and, you know, and it was bad. I mean, and those are just a couple of stories out of hundreds of stories that I have of really dangerous situations that I put myself in, and taking substances that I just can't even believe that, like, I ever lived through. Like, I don't even know how I made it, you know? And, like, alive. Like, I don't know how I made it out alive. And then to go into treatment and test positive for, like, literally everything across the board. And I'm here 26 years later. I feel like I've become I feel like other people view it almost kind of like I'm a prude, if that makes sense. Because like, I'm not open-minded about this, or I'm not open-minded about that. I almost died as a result of this stuff. You know, like, I don't take it lightly at all. You know, like, when somebody wants to get into a conversation, like I've said, I feel strongly about the decriminalization of marijuana, and I feel like you do you if you want to do that. But past that conversation, to me, you know, and there's a lot of reasons why I believe that. I believe, you know, like 80% of the women in our state prisons are repeat offenders, and the recidivism rate is 80% because women are put in probation, and then they smoke weed, and they are having failed drug screens for marijuana. So we have all these women in prison for failed marijuana screens, failed drug screens, and, you know, because of their dirty drops, their kids are going into, you know, foster care and child protection services and things like that. It's this whole cycle that needs to be stopped, right? So if decriminalizing marijuana is going to stop that, I'm all for that. You know, if we're going to stop incarcerating people for petty crimes like that, I'm all for it, right? Okay. Then put rules and regulations around it. But past that, I don't really want to have a whole lot of conversations with people about, because it doesn't usually just stop there. It usually goes into this whole thing about, like, you know, the conversations I would have with people, let's say 15 years ago, about drinking, and they'd say, well, like, you know, I drink this, and maybe I'll drink 4 nights a week, and, like, you know, whatever, but, like, you know, do you think it's a problem? Like, you know, whatever, and like, that's not mine to say to anybody anyway. I feel like those conversations are now conversations I'm having with people that they're bringing up about smoking, you know, smoking pot, smoking weed, but then as soon as I say something like, well, do you feel like you could just put it down and walk away? Well, sure, I could, but, like, I mean, I'm only smoking 3 times a day, and I smoke when I get up, and I smoke before I go to bed, and, you know, I'll smoke, like, you know, after work, and I'm like, okay, well, I mean, if somebody had a drink when they got up in the morning, and a drink before they went to bed at night, and a drink when they got home from work, like, you might say, that sounds like quite a bit, you know? So it's like, I think it's kind of almost like you can't have that conversation with people today that partake any way whatsoever. So I just don't have the conversation, because, quite frankly, I really don't care that much. I just don't. You know, what I care about is the people that are dying for horrific opioid overdoses and alcoholism. And I mean, people are dying from all kinds of stuff, and the least of it, marijuana. So, you know, I don't justify it. I don't make excuses for it, but I don't like being around it. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. It just does. I don't have to be around it, you know? That's my choice. But I think as far as like alcoholics and addicts, like there's two things that really bother me. And I've seen this actually quite a bit. Well, the first one would be that this idea that we as addicts and this is why I wanted to bring this up, because I thought it was an interesting comment on the video. Not that I agreed or disagreed. Well, I mean, I agree that addicts and alcoholics don't have a right to expect people in their life to be sober. Like, everybody I'm talking about, like, in the world, not just their close family members, like I was talking about. And I think those are conversations you have as you go on with being sober. You know, once you've been sober 6 months or a year and you're actively working a recovery program, however you define that, if that's a conversation you want to have with your spouse or whatever, and say, sure, like, I'm comfortable with you having a couple beers in the house or a bottle of wine, or if we go out to dinner, you know, or if we go over to Christmas, you can have, yeah, that's fine. But I think those are conversations you need to have in early sobriety. In early sobriety, I can only speak for this alcoholic and addict, but in early, big pothole. In early sobriety, I was incapable of having alcohol, marijuana, pills, I don't care what was it, a beer, a glass of wine, or whatever. You couldn't have had that in front of me, anywhere near me, somewhere in the house, because I would have found it and I would have used it and I would have found an excuse to use it. So the removal of that and not having that in my living environment was, I mean, I had to be able to have a sober living environment, you know? I just couldn't. But no, we can't expect people to, all people around us to be sober. I hope I'm making this clear. I'm not talking about, in that situation, close family members, and really even friends. Like, I think, like, my friends all had to change when I got sober, you know? So I think that those are conversations you need to have with close family members. That's the first thing. So absolutely, no, we can't expect that we're going to live in a world where all people are sober. It's unrealistic. The second thing it really bothers me is, and I have to honestly say, if I didn't feel so strongly about this, I probably wouldn't mention it, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. And I'm not talking about anybody specific. I think it really bothers me because it's specifically people that say they're sober but they don't work recovery programs. I don't know why it seems to be that way. Maybe it's because this is the language that we speak in recovery. But I have a real issue with people when they are sober and they are like on the edge of relapse, or they think they're going to relapse, or they almost relapse, or they do relapse, and they blame it on other people. Like, no. I am responsible for my own sobriety. I am responsible for my own recovery. Whether I drink or use drugs is on me and nobody else. Nobody can force me to use without me wanting to use, you know? There was a time a couple years ago that I made some comment, and it was like, and it got some attention, and people, I said something to the effect of, I don't even really remember how I said it, but that, like, my sobriety was at risk. And what I meant by that was that when you're going through a really, really difficult time, you're going through struggles in your life as a sober person, your sobriety can be at risk. I mean, even I just had friends of mine that went back out after 20 years, you know? So even at 26 years, if I'm going through hard times in my life, the reality that I might pick up could happen. I mean, that could become my reality. So yes, my sobriety could be at risk because I'm going through difficult times. Other people being responsible for whether I pick up or not, though, no. You know, there's a saying is, I cannot get somebody else sober, and I can't keep somebody sober, and I can't make them drink. And I can't. It's not my responsibility. And it's not your responsibility either. You know, can we help other people be sober? Sure. We can be supportive and we can help them, and we can make sure that maybe they have the most risk-free environments that they possibly have sober. And I'm just sharing my experience, right? But I am not, and nor is anybody else, responsible for somebody else's sobriety. You know? I think, like, that's really, really important I think this is gonna stop. I can't tell where I'm at on time. I think it said like, is it gonna stop 29? It says 29. I think it's gonna stop here in 4, 3, 2. I'm just gonna let it phase out. But anyway, okay, I'm back. But anyway, I just think it's so vital that people understand that, you know? Especially because, and not just on like social media or celebrities or anything like that, but it rubs me the wrong way, and I'll tell you why. Because I feel like it's somebody passing the buck, and part of being sober is taking responsibility and being accountable, and it's literally the absolute opposite over that. And if you can't be responsible for your own sobriety, what can you be responsible for? And I think the other thing is, to anybody out there that is a family member or, you know, a loved one or a friend or whatever of somebody that you're close to, it's really important for you to understand that, because I don't know how far to go to say this, but I think it's important for you to know that so you don't blame yourself, you know? I think so many people blame themselves for people using in their lives, and it's like, well, you know, like my husband went back out, or my wife went back out, or, you know, my sibling or my friend or whatever, and I feel like I could have been more supportive. Sure, we could all be more supportive, right? And I hate to say this, and I have actually had friends of mine in sobriety that had like partners of them be like, I had a friend of mine that somebody that they were dating took a drink at a concert and threw it in their face and said, why don't you go get a start over token? Can you imagine? Can you even imagine? And then have to be collected enough that you're just going to walk away from that and not engage in a fight, right? That is the thing I can't expect. I will say this. This is... So, even on that level, like, it's not somebody else's responsibility. You know, my sobriety is not somebody else's responsibility. And whenever I see that, I always just am like, oh, God, like... Please take responsibility for your own sobriety, because if you don't, then I'm so proud of my sobriety. I did the work, me and God. You know, God got me where I'm at today, you know? So if I hand that over and I say somebody else, you know, made me use, well, then are they responsible for all of the sobriety that I put together too? Or is that God, you know? No, that's me and God, you know? And mostly God. But the other thing I think is important, and I'm talking about like what can we expect from other people. Like this is actually kind of a funny conversation that a lot of people in sobriety have. Tanya and I have this conversation all the time, right? So because I'm a person in sobriety, I mean, I don't have to do these things, but if I want to live a happy, healthy life, I have to do these things, right? So let's say if my husband and I get into an argument and it's fully my fault and it's fully my responsibility, if it's just like an off the cuff kind of argument. We even, like, I can't think of the last time we got into an argument, but let's just say if it's an off-the-cuff kind of argument, right? So it's not something that I need to, like, do deep inventory on or whatever. Oh, this stupid camera is going out of focus again. Okay, let's just say if it's not anything that I need to do, like, deep inventory on, okay? It would be what we would call a 10-step inventory, just like a daily, like, thing that came up, right? But that doesn't mean that I don't still process it with my sponsor, and then, you know, she'll say, well, I think you owe Alex an amends, and then I have to go to Alex, and I have to say, and this is where expectations, you know, and unfulfilled expectations are turn into resentments, but this is where it's hard being sober, right? So I'll have to go to Alex, and I'll have to say, you know that stuff I said earlier, well, I need to make amends for it and tell you that I'm sorry. And making an amends is not saying I'm sorry, but sometimes people need to hear I'm sorry. I've learned that recently. My dad, I've learned that in the last couple of years. Because I used to always say that, like, well, my dad, I grew up on my dad saying to me, don't tell me I'm sorry, because to you, I'm sorry just means forget what I just did. So whenever I would make amends to somebody, I never wanted to say I'm sorry, because those words never meant anything to me, right? But what I've learned in the last couple of years, there are people that the words I'm sorry mean a great deal to, and there are people that deserve to hear that. And so there have been people that I have said I'm sorry to in the last couple of years, because they deserve to hear that, you know? But anyway, with Alex, like, yes, like if we got into some argument over something something stupid, let's just say, you know, and I'd say, I'm sorry, you know, whatever. Like, we're very good today having those conversations where then Alex will say, babe, I'm sorry too, and I didn't. Like, he'll say that. He'll say, you know, like, I'm sorry too, and I didn't want the argument to ever, you know, or I'm sorry that we let the conversation get that heated or whatever. But back in the day, you know, I would go to Alex and I would say, I'm really sorry, like, I need to take responsibility, you know, that argument was me. And he would say, you're right, it was you. You do owe me an apology, right? And I just have to sit there and say, you're right. It was all me. And he would never say, like, until we got into counseling, you know, and we talked about, like, reciprocal, you know, apologies and communication, things like that. I just made up reciprocal communication, but that's really what it is, where it goes back and forth, like, but that's not, I don't know if that's a word. I've never heard that word, reciprocal communication, before, but it probably is a word out there somewhere. But anyway, just that idea of giving and taking in a conversation, and the battery just started dying. So, you know, Tanya and I would get in a car, and I'd be like, oh my God, Tanya, I had to make amends to Alex. And, you know, he just would not buckle. He just wouldn't sit there and say, you know, he wouldn't back down and say, yes, I'm sorry too. And she's like, doesn't that suck? She was like, you know, Eric's the same way sometimes, you know. So we would laugh and, you know, talk about it. That's why it's important for me to have people that, you know, friends of mine that are sober, that understand it. Because it's like, especially when you're in a relationship with somebody that's not an addict or an alcoholic, they call them normies, but I hate that word, normie. But anyway, you know, it's like, and I honestly think that that for me personally, being in a relationship with somebody that's not an addict or an alcoholic is healthier for me, for this one, than being in a relationship with somebody that was like a person in recovery. I think that would be hard. I have friends of mine that are in relationships with people that are in recovery, but I think that it would be hard. I have friends of mine that met in recovery and dated and got married and had kids and the whole 9 yards, but I would think that would be hard, you know? Because so much of the relationship would rely on the sobriety, if that makes sense. So I don't know, you know, I don't think we should expect too much of anybody in our lives, you know. Thought it was an interesting comment, though. I wanted to bring that up and talk about it. So anyway, let me know what you think about all of that. And I don't usually say that on this channel, do I? In the comment section below. Just, you know. I know you will. And if you could like this vlog, I would really appreciate it. And hit the thumbs up button. And if you've made it this far, put a summer emoji. I don't care if it's a fish or a wave. Do they have wave emojis? Or a sunflower, or a palm tree, or a beach, or something. But I'm like craving summer weather. So some kind of summer warm emoji, put that down there in the comment section below. And I hope you guys are having an amazing Tuesday. It's my home group meeting night. I can't wait. We're gonna have fun tomorrow night. Tanya and I and another friend are driving to and from the meeting together, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. And yeah, so it'll be a good day tomorrow. And today was a good day. And what does my one friend say in sobriety? Well, a lot of people say it, but my one friend always says it. He says, it's a good day to be alive. So it's a good day to be alive. Be kind to one another. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Practice kindness, love, compassion, forgiveness, understanding, tolerance, humility. And just put some goodness and love out there in the world. And I love you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you.